ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Sinclair with the Bach Festival Society, and I'd like to tell you about our last choral masterwork of the season and hope you will be able to attend. We'll open the concert with a really unique overture. It is the Meditation from the Light of Life by Sir Edward Elgar. Elgar was a composer that didn't have much confidence in himself, and once his Enigma variations came out and he started becoming famous, and then of course later on with the Pomp and Circumstance, we start to hear of the genius of Elgar. And many people in the day thought he was one of the greatest composers of their time. But Elgar always had his own self-doubt. But this piece he felt very special about. And this overture starts it off exactly right, with meditative and then this lush, warm melodies that sets the night for this program of Romanticism and Resurrection. César Franck's Psalm 150 is a little gem. It is a piece for chorus and for orchestra, and it is unique in that Franck was a big deal in his day. He was friends with Liszt. He was friends with a variety of people who he bounced his ideas off of, and he was very prominent in his era. This piece is Psalm 150 in a unique setting and a very powerful opening and ending. One of the most lush and lovely pieces of this program is a piece by Gounod, Charles Gounod. And it is from his Mass, a St. Cecilia Mass, or he called it Messa Solenile. And it is the Sanctus, which is holy, holy, holy. Features tenor soloists and choir. We know of Gounod's music through his famous Ave Maria, or the Marionette March, the march that you hear on Alfred Hitchcock theme, or maybe his opera Faust. But this is a unique look at Gounod, who talked about, in this small work, creating all the colors he possibly could and shading on this piece. It is a little mini masterpiece and one that you shouldn't miss. Capillaria Rusticana, Mascagni's piece for soprano and chorus, seen in prayer, is just really an amazing work. Just as we know operatic works can be with so melodic, this piece typifies that with this lush, warm, rich melody, with the backup singers doing the echo parts for the solos, starting with a little setting of Regina Coeli. It is just a slice out of that opera that talks about the Easter service they wandered upon. And it is great fun, remembering Mascagni was a rock star in his day, and to hear this glorious solo from there by Mary Wilson, our soprano, and chorus, can't be beat. Alfred Gall's The Cherubic Hymn, and I Hear the Harpers, is a piece from the Holy City. It is a fun work, but it is so serene. It features women's chorus and our bass soloist, Kevin Days. It is from a work that basically was one of the most popular pieces in England for a long time. It's believed that it sold over 150,000 scores to this piece, but it didn't quite make its way with the popularity to the United States. But nevertheless is a piece that you should know and you should hear, and it is absolutely charming and delightful. Another work on the program is the Russian Easter Overture by Rimsky-Korsakov. Now, most of us know Rimsky-Korsakov from his masterpiece, Scheherazade. And this piece was written at the exact same time as the other work was written. It is very interesting. It starts in the woodwinds with this lovely chant. It's a canticle, a Greek canticle, and it takes you through the story of Easter. And Korsakov himself talked about the text he wanted to create, with the trumpets heralding the silence of the people finding Christ in the tomb and the stone being rolled away. He tries to tell the story. The musicologist Robert Greenberg talks about this and says this is the entire story of the Russian Easter. As you maybe know, is that the Russians refer to this as the bright holiday, and Korsakov lives up to every bit of that. Tchaikovsky thought that Korsakov was the best of all the Russian five, and the more studious and frankly the best composer of the five. The work is The Seven Last Words of Christ, and it's by Théodore Dubois, a Romantic-era French composer who we don't know much about now. But in his day, he was a big deal as Dean of the Paris Conservatory and also a proponent of Romanticism in France, right at the time when they were starting to look at Impressionism. As a matter of fact, he was rather controversial because his student, Ravel, and he were not necessarily on the best of terms. And he even forbid his students from listening to the music of Debussy because he was so entrenched in what he believed was the best way to write music, which is the Romantic era and the Romanticism. This piece is powerful, solo parts for soprano, tenor, and bass. It features a magnificent choral writing, and then add that with this elegant, powerful orchestral writing. It is a masterwork that really needs to be back on the front shelf of great choral masterworks. And we hope this performance will convince not only you, but all concerned that this is the kind of piece that needs to be heard regularly. So please don't miss this concert of Théodore Dubois' Seven Last Words of Christ.